Hello everyone, my name is Ben and welcome back to PASSTHEauxCORD, a channel where my audio and video recording software has been being a bitch for the past hour, but we're still here regardless, and as promised, we're taking a look at the new album from Deftones called Ohms. Deftones is a band that I guess I haven't ever particularly gotten into, but I know a lot of their music. I've been exposed to it a lot. It's just kind of a product of the music that I listen to, as well as a lot of the people around me listen to. I'm familiar with the band. It's just that they've never really won me over. So today we're gonna see if they can win me over with this new album, Ohms. I've heard a lot of good things, but I've heard a couple bad things too. This seems to have some very mixed and controversial opinions, which makes it all the more interesting to get into right away here. So without any further ado, do want to mention that this is going to be a two-part video. Part 1 today, part 2 tomorrow, so do stay tuned for that tomorrow as well. But we're sitting at 46 minutes, 10 songs, 5 in part 1, 5 in part 2. Let's get into it. First track is Genesis. Interesting kind of buzzy sound going on here. Not sure to call this peaceful or ominous and eerie. It kind of gives me both vibes. Okay, I was figuring something was gonna happen. The mix of cleans and scream vocals here is kind of nice. Some weird mixing on the vocals here. Kinda like it though. Hold on. How many times has it been that metalcore has used the phrase climbing out of the ashes? I'm enjoying the song, but that is ridiculously cliche. I'm just putting it out there. Big riffs in there. Very nice. I mean, I do like the chorus. Adds to this nice mix of the cleans and the scream vocals in here. Again, has this kind of badass vibe to it. Okay. Introducing some different elements. I'm waiting for this to get really heavy, and I'm not sure if it's gonna do it. Ooh, there it is. There it is. There's those heavy riffs coming in there again. Decent. Transitions really well too, because that last drum hit kind of just like fades through into the beginning of the next song. That was kind of nice, I gotta say. So I think this is gonna be, as a complete experience, pretty good too. So the song in its lyrical content is rather nondescript almost, I want to say. It leaves things kind of vague, and like I said, it does fall into some metalcore, kind of like this alt metal genre cliches for sure. Like I said, the climbing out of the ashes line on there is very tried and true. We'll just put it that way, put it a little nicely there. And you know, a lot of this kind of just seems somewhat similar to exactly what I would expect, but considering it is what I would expect, you kind of have reason to believe that that is what people listening to it would want as well, you know? I mean, it just makes sense. Regardless, our narrator here seems to have came to some sort of conclusion in their life, some sort of dramatic shift in their mentality. They keep saying that they have achieved balance and that they are reborn, okay? Again, kind of vague, kind of cliche, but it gets the job done, okay? And the tone of that song, again, not a lot on there that I didn't anticipate, not a lot on there that I didn't expect, but they do what they do and they do it well. I can give them that for sure. It has the very classic metalcore sound. This does sound like some of the stuff that I've heard from Deftones in the past, I have to say, but this does seem a little bit heavier, especially in the vocals, than I'm used to from them. I can't tell you for sure if that's normal or not. Like I said, I've only heard bits and pieces of their albums every once in a while, but it does seem a little heavier than I remembered, so that's cool as well. Of course, you've just kind of got your gent riffs going on in here. That's as you would expect. It's not super technical, but it's kind of got that math rock appeal to it. I hope that we get a little bit more variation going into this further, but still, enjoyed the track. Ceremony is the next one. Again, kind of a subtle opening here. Nice. Okay. I like that it didn't all get super heavy. It's just kind of gradually doing its thing. That when those heavier riffs come in, it's kind of nice. The drumming on this album has been really good so far, I have to say. I'm liking the more intricate riffs that are kind of to the back of the mix. This is interesting. Ooh, damn! That came in so good. Wow. I'm really liking the fact that they take an element of the instrumental from the previous song and make it fade into the next one. It's kind of a cheap and easy way to do transitions, but at the same time, it works really well. I mean, if it's not broken, don't fix it, I guess. I guess generally speaking, this kind of seems like a, I don't want to really call it a breakup track, but it's just like, it's that idea, but way more bitter and dramatic. I mean, you have verse 2 here. Prep the surface, bound my limbs, place the chair beneath the rail, on the outside, just skin and bones, show me what's left. That's kind of a lot, I guess. But, I mean, you've got certain giveaways towards the end of this track that it is about the end of a romance, of a relationship of some kind. I mean, the big giveaway is with one kiss, one caress at the end of the third verse, and you can kind of grab that from the bridge as well. The world we shared, it was never there. I mean, it's all kind of there, but, you know, you've got some really good descriptive language going on here, some good imagery as well. It does just a lot to enhance the again, I'll use the word dramatic mood of this, and does that really well. But you had a really good duality going on there of the heavier and the lighter tones of the song. Overall, this one was much more relaxed than the previous one, and it fell into a lot less common tropes for that reason. I definitely prefer this track to the previous one, just because there's not a lot of things I've heard that sounded exactly like this, with the more stripped back sections and the very heavy section in it as well. Of course, some people have done it. It's been done, but it still sounded really unique in the moment of listening to it. Kind of just a chilling atmosphere to this track as well. Really gets you in this dark mood that they seem to be building up on here. Urantia? Urantia, maybe? I'm not sure how to pronounce track number 3's title. According to the bio here, Urantia might refer to the Urantia book, a book published in 1955 by the Urantia Foundation. Urantia is the name given to planet Earth in the book, which has the unusual length of over 2,000 pages, discusses various spiritual and philosophical matters, such as the origin and meaning of life, mankind's place in the universe, the relationship between God and mankind, and the life of Jesus Christ. But either way, that's some really good information to know going into this, that maybe we're going to be talking about some meaning of life kind of concepts on here. This one kicks off very heavy already. These riffs are mixed in a really big way. Ooh, I wasn't expecting it to kind of chill out and get calmer like that. The whole presentation here is very interesting. Narrative here and the lyrics is very interesting. Man. Very emotive performance here. This keeps doing a lot of things that I'm not expecting. Still, again, really liking the drumming here, and it's mostly the mixing. I mean, the performance of the drumming is good too, but it's just really engineered well. Was not expecting that, but yeah. Okay, so on that song, I mean, I was really engaged, really interested on the first half of that, when we have like kind of a direct like storytelling narrative almost going on here, where our narrator appears to be left in a house where his significant other had left, and he's just stuck looking at their things that they left behind, all the way down to a cigarette in an ashtray, which implies that this was a very sudden thing. And I guess I expected it to go somewhere else. This had this very dark presence to it that, you know, kind of made you think that our narrator is a little bit unstable, as well as some of the lyricism on here, and I was expecting a little bit more than I guess the second portion here, where it seems like they're just pretty much wallowing in sadness, but I guess it fits. I mean, I just thought it was going more interesting places than that. Either way, the sound of the song just kind of seems to intensify the emotional appeal of this track. Had some really good moments in it. Again, they kind of cut away to more heavy portions and back to some more subtle stuff. A lot of it seemed like I was supposed to be focusing especially on the lyrics. Once again, why I thought this was going to have more of a start to finish narrative to it, but really it just kind of had to start. So I guess I'm not really sure why that was made the way it was, but either way, I think it's more on the sentiment of the song that becomes the appealing part on this particular track, and it managed to do that pretty well. Not really sure where the title came into there, is what it is. Error is the next one. That's some distortion right there, if I've ever seen it. Still sick drumming. I'm probably going to bring it up every track. I think I have. It's kind of angelic, soaring vocals of the heavy, genty riffs. Good stuff, man. Corn vibes on this verse, have to say. Yeah, kind of corn vibes on this whole song, to be honest. Really like the airiness going on here. Alright, you managed to do something here. Okay. Honestly, this is starting to lose me. This is way too long, but that's really good. Yeah, that was a pretty nice transition. Wow. Yeah, that was the best part of the track, to be honest with you. Lyrically speaking, I'm kind of having similar problems to this song that I have on some of the other ones on here. It's been kind of my big gripe that a lot of this just seems somewhat cliche and somewhat nondescript and just kind of open to interpretation, but not really in a way where I feel like I can get a lot out of it. But I do have to recognize the fact that this is tying a lot back into one of the other tracks for sure, because you've got the mention of honey in here. That was something that was brought up, I think, in track 3. It might have been 2 though as well. And there definitely is some sort of broken relationship type lyricism going on in this track, so honestly it seems like it's really sticking to that theme. The last 3 songs have been, whereas the first and opener track seemed like some grand realization that the narrator had came to, which I guess if we're talking about strong emotions could be again tied in, so I guess that all makes sense. Really in sound though, this one didn't justify the 5 minutes at all. This is the first time where, I mean, these have all been long songs, well, except Ceremony, I guess, but these have been longer songs at least, and I really felt like the other 3 before it did a lot more with the runtime. Like I said, there is that one part where it picks up in a really cool way. I like that, but it's also been done better on here already, so yeah, that one was iffy, but I do get the sentiment behind it, you know. I mean, there is a lot going on with that track that if you like the other ones, you're probably going to like on this one as well. It fits in. It's just that it didn't do a lot more than fit in. The Spell of Mathematics is the next one. Yes, absolutely. Such a good intro. You can always give me these heavy riffs. Love it. You know, you've done it to me so many times, I should be expecting it to get all spacey every once in a while. Riffs are so good on this track. That bass line, man, that's crazy. Back to this plucky, airy melody. It's almost becoming predictable at this time, though, I have to say. This sounds so nice. This is different. Okay, so I'm glad it's doing something interesting here, like it's switching it up a little bit, but something to kind of ride off what I said about the last track. We're halfway through this. We're only halfway through this. Like, it seems like it's gone on long enough to be 2 songs already. You have so many dramatic switches in a track, it just ends up feeling almost messy. How many times it feels like the song should have changed within one because they're so long and they do so many different things. It's kind of overwhelming. Either way, this section is pretty interesting. I'm sure it's just going to get heavier again. It's kind of the thing. Yep, there it is. Okay, I mean, the riffs are still really sick, but I do not know what to think of these hand claps going on in here. It's kind of an odd choice, but I'll let it happen. This has done nothing for the past minute at least. Where are we going? I expected this to be a little bit of an interlude, sure, but it's a little redundant. Okay, that's kind of cool. Next song's heavy, right? Yeah? Yep. Hit me with it. Oh, okay, we're going a different direction. Man, I do not know what to say about that ending portion of the song. There was like 2 minutes of song there that didn't need to be there at all. Look, at this point I'm kind of notorious for not liking long songs, but at the same time, some of my favorite songs ever are really long, so you do it right, and it ends up being well-deserving and rewarding to listen to. You can really look at that ending portion and kind of get what I've been getting from this album so far, is that, yeah, it kind of all sounds pretty great, except for the fact that it's just doing this same thing where it gets really airy and mellow, and then it goes back to being really heavy, and then it goes back to being really like relaxed, calm, just kind of spacey. And you know, I'm hoping we get some songs, honestly, at this point that just do one thing, because the way you have all of these transitioning so much just makes me think that I'm not going to want to come back to a song because it just doesn't fit a singular vibe, you know. Having a couple tracks on an album that do this, where it just gets very dramatically more heavy or less heavy throughout the whole thing, that's always really cool, and I like it when artists do that, have one song that really stands out in that way as a much different track. But the fact of the matter is, you're kind of hitting me with the same gimmick 5 times so far. Other than that, you know, there was a lot to love on that song. The heavier moments on there were really hard-hitting, and, you know, it did that quite well. I'm just hoping that things get less formulaic in part 2, but we will have to find out. So do tune into part 2 coming up tomorrow. If it's already up, it's linked next to my head. It's linked somewhere in the description comments as well, in a pinned comment. So do go ahead and check it out there. If not, it'll be up in the next 24 hours or so. So thank you very much for watching otherwise, but drop a like on the video if you did like what you saw today, and subscribe to the channel for more music related content coming your way. Hit the bell for notifications on that same thing as well, but that is just about going to wrap it up for this one, and I will see you in part 2.